Next, we have another supplier sponsors spotlight. Again, we can't do these events without sponsorship, so I'd like to ask Gareth from Contact Originators to come up and give his spotlight. So, warm round of applause, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Tim. Thanks to the association, first of all, for the opportunity of allowing us to present today. For those of you who don't know us, we're a reprographic and flexographic plate supplier. So hopefully Paul is right in his presentation that Flexo's not dead yet. We've got a few more years left in it. Long live Flexo, absolutely. So we're based in Duckingfield, just outside of Manchester, and we were established just over 30 years ago in 1992. We're a privately owned company, which was acquired in 2019 by a new management team, by Steve Bulkai and Gary Walker. Steve's been involved in the business just over 10 years now. When we were a group, he was brought in to restructure the group, decided he quite liked the smell of polymer plates, and acquired the company. We employ 65 people, 46 of those based at the headquarters, and 19 are within our customer sites, providing reprographic services. And we operate from a nice modern facility in Manchester, as I say, housing all of our artwork studio, plate making and mounting production. We like to partner, and we're privileged to beta test with like-minded companies, so technology suppliers, hardware suppliers, plate suppliers, and so on. And we like to bring innovative solutions to the corrugated and flexible packaging markets. So they're our two main markets, corrugated, which is probably about 95% currently, and the flexible packaging market. We like to understand you, the customer, what your market is, the product, what your challenges are. So if you've got some challenges, you can't get the laydown of ink, things like that, ever-changing paper grades and so on springs to mind. We like to understand that and try and bring some solutions to that. We're 100% invested and focused on plate making, nothing else. So that's our core business. We don't get involved in brand management and all that side of things. We've got a lot of years of experience, both internally and externally within the business, right the way from customer services teams all the way through to plate making and mounting. And we like to standardise as best we can our products and ranges across the group. So we try not to have a confused selection of plate variants and technologies. As I said earlier, we do a lot of testing on this sort of thing, and we sort of have a range of plates that we know that works for each application. We've got plenty of capacity to cope with peaks in demand and any foreseen situations. We know how it works in the industry. We always have sort of peaks and troughs in those demands, the late breaking orders and things like that, and we've got a lot of headroom that we can cope with that. We like to also work alongside the sales teams. So if you're trying to break into a market sector, transfer something from litho lam or preprint into corrugated post-print, we like to try and understand that, what your challenges are, and find solutions to that. As I say, we R&D and continuously provide trials on coated and uncoated substrates and try and find the best solution for that. So, as I say, we do a lot of beta testing with our suppliers so that we can find the best technology for the application. Our potential daily capacity is around about 1.4 million square inches. We're currently running at 45% capacity in plate making and 62% in mounting. We've got 3 of the latest crystal CDI lines with the LED exposure frames. We've got 1 integrated Thermoflex fully automated system, and then we've got the Kodak NX system as well. So annually we make enough plates to cover Wembley Stadium. So we could cover the entire roof of Wembley Stadium. To go around Silverstone nearly 8 times. So if you put the plates end to end that we produce annually. It's around about 29 miles of plates. And if His Majesty wanted to, we could almost carpet Buckingham Palace. So we make plates, that's a given, and we make a lot of plates. And we've got some nice accolades as well. So for the last 4 years on the bounce, we've achieved Supplier of the Year and Repro House of the Year. Supplier of the Year, it's a nice accolade. Our customers put us forward for that, nominate us for it on our supply, quality, support. The Repro Company of the Year is based on the prints that have achieved awards at the FIA evening. And we get points for that, which goes towards the Repro Company of the Year. So a lot of that obviously is associated with the more complex type work, HQPP work, but in actual fact, 75% of our main throughput is just 1 and 2 colour work. So these sort of transit cases, that type of work. The sort of higher end work, the HQPP work, that only accounts for around about 13%. So our main bread and butter is sort of the 1, 2 colour, as I say, transit case type style work. So as I mentioned earlier, we sort of try and have a plate range which basically covers the different applications, going from a softer, thicker plate for your uncoated substrates through to combination line and tone, and then your higher end HQPP style work with the DuPont EPC and the Miraklon NX, which was formerly the Kodak plate. So a few solutions that we've brought to the market, just a few examples. Optimus screening. Paul touched on this earlier with his technology. Achieving a good laydown on uncoated substrates, it becomes a challenge, particularly with lightweighting. Getting that laydown of ink on the substrate without crushing the board becomes more of a challenge. So we can put a surface screen on the top of the plate, basically acts like an Anlux on the plate, so it carries ink. So therefore you can achieve the better laydown, you get a colour uplift, and you can do that without crushing the board. So we get nice stronger colours, we get less fluting because you're having to put less pressure on the board. Every plate that we produce is flat top dot, so that helps, but also it also helps with having the Optimus screening on it, that you're not applying the pressure. And we get a nice uplift in whites as well. So there's a lot of trend at the moment with whites going on brown board. We can get a really nice high impact opaque white with using this technology. Metallics as well, always a bit of an issue, never prints that clean. You get a rough edge to it. Because it's a thicker ink, we get a nice clean transfer with metallic inks as well. And there's potential ink savings to go with it. Another solution that we've brought is highlight screening. This is always an inherent problem in the flexo industry. You always get dot gain, you always get a hard edge on things. So your transitions, your vignettes, your soft edges, things like that, it transitions down and then it stops. And we always get this sort of rough edge around it, or we always have done. So you're printing at around about 12%. We've now got a technology, as I say, called highlight screening, where we can use a stochastic screen. This has been available in the thin plate market for years, but in the thicker plate market for corrugated, it's not been as achievable. So we can run a test print like this, where we basically look at what min dot you can stably hold, we can stably hold on the plate, what stays clean in the print production. We analyse that, and then that's the dot size that we use, so that now we can achieve a nice smooth transition down to 0 with images such as this. And you can see there sort of how the screening breaks down, goes down to a min dot, a nice stable size, and then spaces apart so that to the eye, optically, it looks like you're running down to a lower min dot. Magniformer, this is for those of you that have got larger presses. So the largest sheet size of plate that we can buy, we can provide you with is 2 meters. So anything above 2 meters has to be supplied and mounted in sections. And then that always brings issues with if you're joining it through a solid, how we can join it through a solid without a gap in it, and then registration issues. So this example here, it went from a 3-up to a 4-up and then a 6-up, and now we're printing it at a 9-up in 3 lanes. And those 3 lanes were mounted as separate pieces of plate, and we managed to achieve colour-to-colour registration of 0.2 of a millimetre on a 5-colour job across the 2.8 metres of the job. Not go through all this, but goes without saying that whatever we do, we try and do it in a sustainable and eco-friendly way, and being ethically responsible. So, you know, we look at where we can, recycling as best we can. We challenge our suppliers with this, removing packaging where they can out of their supply into us, buying things in bulk boxes, in crates, returning those back to the supplier to be refilled and sent back into us. So we're always driving forward on this, and just recently we've had a sustainability assessment from EcoVadis, and we've achieved the silver in that, so we're quite proud of that. Example of that is all of our plates are washed out with solvent. So our new solvent system, affectionately called Gareth because it's massive, basically it recycles all of our solvent. So to wash out a corrugated plate, we use about 50 litres of solvent each plate that goes through, and we can be putting through sort of 200 plates per day. So with this, we recycle the solvent, we get about a 98% yield from it, and this distillation system is heated by steam as opposed to oil. So the condense from the steam is regenerated back into the system and used again for heating. So it's a nice, as best we can, eco-friendly system. So thank you. We've got a bit of a special offer for conference attendees today. If you would like to invite us in for a plate audit, FOC, we can come in, look at the plates that you're using, look at your plate selections for the application, storage, cleaning, handling, that type of thing. We've got some packs available as well. If you see us afterwards, either myself or my colleague Les, which have got the Optimus samples in there on brown board with a white and a metallic. So there's a before and after in there. If you like what you see, you can try a free Optimus plate trial. So we run the trial plate, establish what works best with your Analux configuration, and then you can take that forward as well into a free 2-colour job, up to a 2-colour job set of plates. Okay, any questions at all?
Thank you very much.
Probably run over there. Thank you. Thank you very much.